there is the potential for heavy disruption, right? I think with Waymo, probably because now Uber and Lyft and all these other companies are public companies. So we do a lot of investor calls, people who have billions of dollars invested in these companies. They want to know, what are drivers feeling? What are they saying? Probably my last 10 to 15 investor calls that I've done over the past year, they've all just been hijacked and people want to know about Waymo versus Uber, right? Because they're here, because they're now. And I actually think Waymo is less of a direct threat to Uber, and we can get into the reasons why, but it really has to do with the business model. Like I go back to Waymo has 1,500 cars. They just announced they're going to add another, couple thousand by next year. Okay, cool. They'll be at 3,500 cars next year. Lyft, for example, they actually own a fleet of 15,000 vehicles under their Flex Drive program. So they're already one of the biggest owners of vehicles in the rideshare space. And just to put that right, like Waymo's going to have 3,500 by next year. Lyft literally already has 15,000. Like Lyft is tiny compared to Uber, right? So like they're still a fraction when you think about like that vehicle ownership. People forget like cars are expensive, man. $50,000 for a car times, 1,000 cars, right? You really starts to add up $50 million fleet, right? Or whatever the numbers are. And so I think that business model difference is important to note. And then like when you think about that's sort of where I've been most excited by Tesla, because they are going to approach it with a very different business model. And I think, like you've talked about this, Elon has talked about this. And I think he's obviously like probably rightfully so as the CEO, like very bullish on their approach. I'm a little more skeptical. We can get into the reasons why, but they've already got millions of cars on the road, right? And so they can kind of and potentially get those vehicles onto the platform and actually like start to compete from they have the potential to compete with Uber when it comes to fleet size, when it comes to, like quality of the product experience, right? Whereas Waymo, it's just going to take much longer for them to scale up, right? And so I think that's kind of like, people really are like, oh, wow, when's Waymo going to kill Uber? I'm like, I don't think Waymo's going to kill Uber anytime soon. Like Tesla has the potential to kill, or maybe not kill Uber, but, really compete head to head with Uber. But it's because it's such a different business model, if that makes sense.